Alright guys, today I want to talk about partial pressures. What exactly are partial pressures and why are they important to us divers? Let's discuss. So let's start with the basics. When we're talking about partial pressures in diving, we're talking about the pressure exerted by a gas in a certain breathing mixture. And let's just use air as an example. And by the way, the word air shouldn't be overused. Air is actually 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen, and 1% of just little trace gases. That specific combination makes it, and by definition, makes it air. Any other combination of gases would make it something else. For example, even just 22 or 23% oxygen in this mixture, it would no longer be air, it would be nitrox, okay? So let's just use air though as an example. So we have 21% O2, 78% nitrogen, and 1% or so trace gases. That is air, all right? So you will remember all the way back from your open water course that here on the surface, here at sea level, that our atmospheric pressure is just one bar, 1 atmosphere. That means if we take oxygen, for example, at 21%, convert it to 0.21, here on the surface, 1 bar is 0.21 partial pressures of oxygen. All right, so you remember our dive tables? We will say this is our dive. Right here, let's just call this the surface. All right. Surface, 0 meters, 1 atmosphere, or 1 ATM, or ATA, 1 bar, whatever you want to do. Now, if you remember right, every 10 meters, we get 1 more atmosphere of pressure, right? So, or 33 feet if you do that. So 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. So does that mean at every 10 meters we have 1 more bar? Does that mean we have 0.21 more partial pressures of oxygen? Yeah, it does. So if it's 1 atmosphere here on the surface, 0 feet, or 0 meters, then here at 10 meters, it'd be 2 atmosphere, 3 atmosphere, 4, 5, and so on. And it would be the same. So we convert 21% into a fraction of gas. That'd be 0.21 here on the surface, 0.42, and so on. You would, if you want to simplify it, you could just add them up. At 10 meters, another 21. 20 meters, another 21. 30 meters, another 21. Okay? So that's how partial pressures work in relation to pressure. And so why is it important for divers? Well, you will remember that for oxygen toxicity in specific, you know, CNS, things like that, we put our absolute partial pressure limit of O2, our PPO2, at 1.4. All right, so if our PPO2 limit is 1.4, how many meters can we go? How deep can we go before we hit our limit of 1.4 PPO2? So that's why it's important. In another video, we actually talk about our max operating depth, how to calculate your max operating depth with different mixes. And as you can imagine, this is just air. So I believe, I'm not going to do the calculation, but in my head, our max operating depth, our MOD for air, 21%, is about 56 meters. So that's when we're starting hitting the 1.4 PPO2. So you can imagine if we start using higher elevated oxygen, you know, nitrox, what is our MOD for different mixes, like 32%, 40%, you know, a lot. So here, I'll even write it as an example. All right, let me erase this. Let's just, since we're talking about why understanding your partial pressures is important as a diver, let's just write down an example. I just said air, 21%. Our MOD is about 56 meters. Let's say we use 28% nitrox. Our MOD, and I already wrote this stuff down so I don't have to remember. Our MOD is only 39 meters. If we go to 32%, our max operating depth is about 33 meters. Did I write that down? Yep. 36%. The deepest we can go is 28 meters. All right, and so on and so on. 50%, I use a lot of 50% when Deco diving. I believe it's 21 meters. And then 100%, like washout gas. You can only, if you use 1.4 ppO2 as your max, you can only go to 3 meters. Whoops, this is meters, not percent. So, as you can see, the more oxygen I use in my mix, the shallower I can go, because, you know, having a higher and higher ppO2, it can risk CNS and oxygen toxicity and things like that. So I hope that's a simple explanation of partial pressures. I just see it as the ingredients of different gases. But if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And of course, as usual, if you want to come diving with us, if you want to come here in the Philippines and do some training here at our recreational and technical training facility, our contacts will be down below. I'd love to see you. And if you're a nerd like me, you love this stuff, you're a student of the game, you watch to the very end of this video, how about you put a fish emoji in the comments below to let me know that you watched till the very end, okay? And I'll see you on the next one.